I'd like to call the Onslow County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, January 21st, 2026 to order at this time. And we'll start with our county attorney, Mr. Brett DeSelms, leading us in the invocation. Mr. DeSelms?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you and conduct the business of Onslow County. Lord, be with the commissioners in their deliberations and bless them with wisdom and guidance as they address the items on tonight's agenda. May all we do this day bring you honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
Now, with deep respect and reverence for the faiths, beliefs, and traditions of those gathered here tonight, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Yes, you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We like to acknowledge the elected officials that are here with us tonight, and there may be a few in the crowd tonight. First, here on the front row, we have Mayor Pete Parnian from Holly Ridge. Just behind Mayor Parnian is the mayor of North Topsail Beach, Mayor Rick Grant. And I believe we have a town councilman from Holly Ridge, Joshua Patty, and his partner with him. And then Sheriff Chris Thomas in the back with us as always. Always good to see the sheriff at these. And then we may have a member of the Board of Education with us tonight. So, because it's a great night to have everyone here. And we have Chairman of the Board of Education, Mr. Elbert Garvey, Vice Chairman, Mr. Bradley Williams, Board Member Suzanne Long, Michelle Halley.
Philip Williams.
I wanted to call him, I got stuck on Brad, and I was like, Philip Williams, and then Bill Lanier. We thank them for all being here. Did I miss any of the elected officials that are here tonight? So we thank everyone for being here. And now we need a reminder that we need everyone to turn your cell phones off or set them to silent or vibrate mode. And we'll move right into item 1, adoption of the agenda.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda or to add resolution 26-002 as item 10 alpha.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those no. Hearing none, motion carries, and that item will be added as 10A on the agenda. We'll move to adoption. Need a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries, and we have the adoption of our agenda. Moving right to item 2, the Commissioner Carpenter is excited about the consent agenda.
Consent agenda.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So now we'll move right straight into our first presentation, which I was informed earlier that it's been 6 years to the day that we passed this funding formula and annual capital outlay funding agreement between the Onslow County Board of Education and the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. And we have been good to our word that we would get to this point and work together to extend that capital outlay funding agreement. So that's what we're all here for tonight, is the extension of that agreement, which would explain why we have the executive staff from Onslow County Schools here with us tonight in this monumental agreement in the funding of the annual capital outlay. So, Mr. Smitherman, did you need to share anything on this right now, or move right into signing?
I will say that this is exactly what this board did for the Coastal Carolina Community College, which ensures that the maintenance of their facilities are taken care of, in this case, for the next 4 years.
Outstanding. So at this time, we'll ask all representatives from Onslow County Board of Commissioners and the Onslow County Board of Education down to the front of the table where the chairman will sign this into action.
I know.
Make sure I sign under Tim. Yeah, a good idea. Well, we'll have two more signatures here shortly with our county manager, Mr. David Smitherman, as the clerk, and then Superintendent of Onslow County Schools, Dr. Chris Barnes. Signature will be applied as well. As we said earlier, this is a commitment of Onslow County, along with the Onslow County Board of Education, to bring to fruition what we had said we would do 6 years ago, and that is bringing this capital outlay funding formula up to that $8 million mark. And then we'll look at that time as this becomes a permanent thing that we're able to address the needs of Onslow County schools yearly and the maintenance that they have to perform. And with that being said, that maintenance will ensure that these buildings are around for a lot longer, and they'll be sustainable because we're meeting those yearly needs. Chairman Garvey?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that on behalf of the Onslow County Board of Education, I would like to thank our county commissioners for their support of our school system. Their actions continue to show that they understand the challenges of a growing school system and the importance of investing into our students. We are very fortunate to have such a good working relationship. Most counties do not have this. And again, we thank you very much.
I think that's important to share what Chairman Garvey said. I was at a meeting a week or so ago with our Deputy County Manager, Steve Eaton, that when they mentioned the relationship between their local boards of education and their local boards of commissioners, we very well have been the only two in the room that said we have a great working relationship. And that's why Onslow County and Onslow County schools together makes Onslow County a great place to live, work, learn, and raise a family. Now, they're not expecting it, but I think it would be appropriate for Dr. Barnes and Mr. Smitherman to go ahead and come down and sign this, and then we'll take a few pictures with the boards. How do you spell it? C. I was pretty intimidated by your videos. That was a good one. All right. Thank you, sir.
She had to get that low because of you.
You know Jolly Green Giant.
Good to see you again. I know, it's been a while. I won't forget you. It's been a while.
Got stuck on her.
I
left Bradley Williams. Oh, yeah.
Hi, yeah, good to see you again. Miss you on the airport board.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you all for that, and a great night in Onslow County. That being said, we'll move into our financial audit presentation, and that is going to be Leanne Baglasala, Did I even come close?
Good enough.
All right, that works. CPA and Director with Malden and Jenkins LLC. Brief presentation on our financial audit.
Good evening. My name is Leanne Bagasawa. I'm a partner at Malden & Jenkins, and I will give your presentation for your fiscal year 2025 results. I will say that we have not issued your audit yet. It should issue next week, and a lot of this has to do with the federal government shutdown that we are all still kind of feeling the effects of. When we audit your federal programs, your grant funding, we rely on a compliance supplement that they issue, and they issued it in late November. And so right now, we are completely done with the audit. We're just waiting on a second partner to review the single audit. The financial audit is actually fully complete, but the state of North Carolina does not let us issue the financial audit separate from what we call the single audit. So all the results that you'll see in this PowerPoint are anticipated results. Not liking me. Oh, there. Okay. So I'm going to go over who your audit team is. I'll go over your 4 audit opinions as well as required communication. Go over some GASB statements that are coming out and will be applicable for the next fiscal year. But at any time, please feel free to stop me and ask me questions. All right, so this slide depicts who Malden & Jenkins is. This is our second year as your external auditor, and this slide actually was correct, but it needs to be updated. We actually merged in another large firm December 1st, so this is actually our results before December 1st, but we've been in business for over 100 years. We're based in Atlanta, Georgia. A third of our practice is governments, so we served over 725 government clients for fiscal year 2025. We actually now operate in 8 states and have 20 offices. But your audit was conducted out of the Raleigh office. I served as the engagement partner. I'm the one that will ultimately sign your audit opinions next week. Your second partner or your quality control review partner is Tim Lyons, who is the partner in charge of our North Carolina office. And then you had several managers and other staff that worked on your audit. Your first anticipated audit opinion in the front of your financial statements is your opinion on your basic financial statements. In that opinion, it says that we consider the internal control structure of the county for the purposes of expressing an opinion on the county's basic financial statements, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of internal controls. Our audit was performed in accordance with generally accepted accounting standards as well as government auditing standards. Our objective is to provide reasonable assurance, but not absolute assurance, that the basic financial statements are free of material misstatements. Within your financial statements, you do have 2 component units, which are the Onslow County Hospital Authority, as well as the Onslow County ABC Board. We do not audit those entities. They're audited by other auditors. And so we do refer to the opinion of the other auditors within your financial statement opinion. And ultimately, the financial statements are the responsibility of county's management. The anticipated opinion for next week will be an unmodified or a clean audit opinion, which is the highest level of assurance that we can provide, that your financial statements present fairly in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, but our responsibility does not extend beyond that report. The next opinions you'll have will be in the back of your financial statements. The first one is our government auditing standards report. And that report, it basically says we do test internal controls of the county in compliance with laws and regulations. The report isn't intended to provide an opinion on all internal controls, nor is it intended to provide a legal determination on compliance. But we do test some internal controls and compliance in accordance with generally government auditing standards. And that opinion, you did receive an unmodified or a clean audit opinion. There was no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in the current year. We also had, We also had to provide 2 compliance reports in our audit. That's where we audit your federal and state grant funding. We audited 5 major programs this year. Medicaid, which is a federal program, but does have some state funding in that. ARPA, the OSMB, or the Office of State Budget Management Solid Waste Grant, foster care, and TANF, or Temporary Assistant for Needy Families. We will issue an report next week on the county's federal programs in accordance with the Uniform Grant Guidance, and that report is intended to be an unmodified or a clean audit opinion. And then in terms of your state programs, we will issue next week an opinion in accordance with the State of North Carolina Single Audit Implementation Act, and we intend that to also be an unmodified or a clean audit opinion. Oh, and then lastly, you do have an additional report that we have over the passenger facility charge program, and that will also intended to be an unmodified or clean audit opinion. So altogether, 5 audit opinions should be coming next week, and we anticipate those all being clean, unmodified. There are no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in any of the audit this year, which is a big improvement from the last year and kind of speaks to your finance team and the work that they're doing. They're doing an incredible job. The next thing that I do have to let you know about is that next week when we issue your audit, we will submit the audit to the local government commission. So generally the audits in North Carolina, the statute now says that audits are due December 31st, 2025. But with the federal government shutdown, that due date is now February 12th of 2026. So we're on the game. We're going to get that audit submitted before the due date of February 12th. But one of the things that we have to submit to the local government commission does generate what we call financial performance indicators of concern. And we went ahead and put that in draft form so that we could see and do this presentation and let you know that there is one financial performance indicator of concern, and the commissioners will be required to respond to that indicator within 60 days of my presentation. And that FPIC, or financial performance indicator of concern, is that there was a budget violation at the adopted ordinance level, meaning that you went over budget in a line item in your financial statements, and the reason why is disclosed already in your financial statements. So you'll just kind of respond and say, this is why it happened, and these are the measures that we're putting in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, this is not considered a finding for the audit at all. This is something that the local government commission is specifically looking at. That budget violation wasn't considered material for us to require us to issue a significant deficiency or material weakness. Okay. And then a couple required communication slides that we have to let you know about. Sometimes you see this in the form of the letter, but we do it in our PowerPoint presentation. There are significant accounting policies that are disclosed in Note 1 of the basic financial statements. Those policies are management's responsibility. We do review those policies to make sure that they're in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles and that the county is not immersed in any controversial or emerging issues. We had no issues with the policies that the county currently has. We did want you to note that during the current year, the county did implement GASB Statement 101 for compensated absence, as well as GASB 102 for certain risk disclosures. They did not have a large material effect on the county. Also, on this slide, we let you know that within the financial statements, you'll see a lot of estimates or judgments made by management. Some of those are actuarially determined, but some of those are based on management's knowledge and expertise. We review those estimates, and we had no issues with the estimates during the audit. From a relationship standpoint, we received full cooperation from county's management and finance staff. We were actually done with this audit a couple months ago, but had to wait for the federal government. So it was going to be issued by December 31st, and that's speaking volumes for kind of how it's gone the last couple years. As part of the audit, we did require a management representation letter. We require that with all audits. It's basically management saying that the information that they gave to us during the audit was complete and accurate. We also have to let you know that we are not aware of the county engaging any other accountants during the span of the year. We always ask that even though we're the external auditor, we do want to be the resource and the guidance for you if there's a new pronouncement or anything going on in the county. We want to be notified throughout the year, not just at the audit. From a significant issues perspective, we didn't know any significant issues during the audit that we need to let you know about. From an audit adjustment standpoint, when we receive your books and records, we do make sure that there's different entries posted to it as part of the audit. And, you know, with the counties trying to prepare your books and records to prepare the financial statements, any adjustments that we had during the course of the audit have been posted to your ledger. There was one unrecorded, or what we call a past audit adjustment. This was something that we determined to be immaterial to the audit. And we just have to let you know that there was one of those. It's related to the medical hold harmless funds, where the county didn't record revenue last year that should have been recorded. So we recorded it this year instead of restating prior year financial statements because it wasn't material to the user of the financial statements. From a disclosures perspective, when you receive your financial statements, this lovely thing, there are lots of disclosures in there. We do read them and ensure that they are neutral, consistent, and provide clarity to the information that's included in the financial statements as well as what we audited. From a financial statements perspective, when you do actually issue your annual comprehensive financial report, we ask that you do not add to or take away from the financial statements because our opinion covers only what we reviewed during the audit. And then the last thing that I do have to let you know is that Maltas and Jenkins is independent of the county and their financial reporting process. This slide right here does go through some extra services that we are able to provide as an accounting firm. We do have advisory services that are listed on the slide, and I won't go into detail. Some of these that we can do and we can maintain our independence, and some that we cannot. But if the county is ever interested in something, you can let us know, and if it's something that we can't do, we can always outsource you to another accounting firm. From a pronouncement standpoint, there are 2 pronouncements that need to be implemented next year, and we will make sure that we work with the county to ensure that they have the proper training on these standards, as well as making sure that they're properly discussed during planning and then they're implemented. But I won't read you all the slides. We don't expect that these will have too much of a material effect on the county, and we don't think they'll take that much time for finance to implement compared to some of the most recent standards that took a significant amount of time. And then the last slide that we have is we do offer a free continuing education for anybody at the county that could use continuing education. It's just a free additional service that we provide, which are quarterly trainings of 6 to 8 hours every quarter. And this just helps people with maintaining their CPA license. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you for the audit and for the hard work. Obviously, if you look, and for the audience that are out there looking at the screen, it's a very, very thorough audit. They're an independent audit company that comes in and does that. And the reason why I say this and I emphasize this is because many times in the past, people have said that we need an audit of Onslow County. We do regular audits of Onslow County, and I can't think of anything more transparent than that. Because what you're seeing and what you're hearing is what we're seeing and what we're hearing of our own staff and what they've been doing in our finance department, and my hat's off to them because I was going through it, listening to you, I was reading some of the stuff, and one of the things that you said is really key to me is that you audit the ARPA funds, you audit Medicaid, et cetera, and let's make it very clear, there were no findings, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, so anybody out there who has said stuff in the past about there was Medicaid this or Medicaid that, you heard it here. There was an audit done by an independent audit firm, and there are no findings in ARPA or Medicaid or anything else. And I commend the staff, and I thank you for pointing it out, and I thank you for your thoroughness, and I thank you for presenting this to the public so that all of us, to include the commissioners that are sitting here in the audience and everybody else in G10 world or wherever they may be, can hear this. And so next time somebody comes up to you and says, Onslow County needs an audit, you tell them, did you go back to the January 21st meeting? An audit was conducted thoroughly, and I just want to thank you. And I got to know this just from me. How do you pronounce your last name? Let me try.
Okay.
Bagasala?
It's Bagasala.
That was close.
But my mom calls me bag of salad, so I don't really, it's just whatever.
So I'm listening to you talk, and I heard his rendition of it, and I'm looking at the name, and I'm trying to think. I'm saying, I'm going to outsmart her. I'm going to see if I can, and I didn't do it, but that's a very unique. How about if I just call you Leanne?
It's good, whatever.
Right. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
All right. So thank you. Always a very clean, proper presentation. But I really want to point out to Kevin, because when Kevin had to come back behind you last year, if y'all have ever seen Kevin speak, he's very confident, very proud, and in a good way. And you could just tell last year after the audit, he was so frustrated. And guess what? It wasn't even his audit. He had come in and taken it over. But Kevin, you said you were going to take care of things and get it done. Great job. Thank you for hammering it home, man. Well done.
Any further questions, discussion?
I just want to say thank you so much. Last year, as Commissioner Davis said, last year it was tough, but our staff, Kevin, your staff, and our manager has taken care of that, and it's good to see a clean audit on time like it's supposed to be. And that's very important to Onslow County people that might not know. Affects your credit rating a whole lot, and we've got a good credit rating. We want to continue that. So thank you so much. And Kevin, staff, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Leanne. We appreciate it. And we thank David for getting Kevin Patterson in here. We had a lot of different things going on, and Kevin's come in and stabilized that very well, and we appreciate that work and his team in doing that. So thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll move to public comments. The board offers the public one opportunity to speak during the meeting. Comments should be limited to no more than 5 minutes and may be on any issue upon which the Board of Commissioners has control. In accordance with the board's adopted rules of procedure, commissioners shall reserve responses, if any, for the commissioner comment period on the agenda. So item 4, public comments. Mr. Smitherman, we have anyone signed up for public comment?
Mr. Chairman, tonight we do not have anyone that signed up to participate in our public comment period, so you may close this.
Thank you, Mr. Smitherman. We'll move to public hearings, item 5, and we'll spend the next few minutes with Carter Metcalf, our planning director, starting first with PREZ 2025-00025, public hearing on ASKU.
ASKU, yes, sir.
Rezoning.
Good evening, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and County Commissioners. The first rezoning tonight is the ASKU rezoning PREZ 2025, number 25. The applicant is the same as the owner, Kimberly Lee Askew. We take an overview of request number 25 is from residential 20 or R20 to rural agriculture, also known as RA. One tax map number in question, 761C-1. It's located at 118 Mystic Ridge and is in the Stump Sound Township. The rezoning area is the entire property of 1.72 acres, and the existing use is that the property is vacant. So we take an overview of the services. There's a 6-inch and also water main along Turkey Point Road, which is the adjacent roadway. Nearby properties are served by individual septic system, and the fire service is for Turkey Creek, which has an ISO rating of 4. There's no traffic count available for Mystic Ridge, so our closest one was Turkey Point Road. The latest count that we were able to obtain was from 2022, 1,700 trips. Staff estimates the trip capacity of that roadway to be just north of 13,000. Schools serving the property are Coastal Elementary, Dixon Middle School, and Dixon High School. At this time, Coastal Elementary would have capacity for any projected new school students. The middle school and high school at this time are over capacity. However, staff does not estimate any new students at this time that would be affected by the rezoning. Here you can see the Mystic Ridge subdivision there, zoned residential 20, while most of the adjacent area there in that pale green color zoned rural agriculture. So we compare the two zoning district. Residential 20's design is to accommodate our low density single family. It prescribes and allows for single family residential development and the associated non-residential uses that are essential. Compared to rural agriculture, its purpose is to maintain that rural development pattern that preserves our agricultural character that is core to our county. Its minimum lot size is the same as R20 of 20,000 square feet, so just under half an acre. It allows for single-family stick-built dwellings the same way the residential 20 does, but RA allows for other uses and other home types, such as manufactured homes, and there's also a variety of non-residential uses. Again, rural agriculture's zoning purpose is to protect that rural character, and so it provides for some limited non-residential and commercial uses to support that rural development. The comprehensive plan, or Onslow Horizon 2040, is our long-range plan designed for how we are to accommodate growth and our population growth as a county. So every property was given a designation or a category. This plan is not binding, but is a recommendation toward the board, and this plan the board has adopted. The category prescribed for this property is rural residential, and its intent is to provide for low-density, single-family residential developments. So with the proposed rezoning, we look at the residential section of our land use and development summary for rural residential. And it would prescribe that single-family residential development at a density of up to 2 dwelling units per acre would be in alignment with Horizon 2040. A minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet would meet that definition. Here you can see our future land use designations for the area. You see there that light gold color is the rural residential, and there to the south along Turkey Point Road, it transitions to waterside community from there to the Atlantic Ocean. Here you see the environmental conditions on the property. There are no blue line streams on the property. There's the nearby Turkey Creek and the associated flood zones that would emanate from the creek. Any sort of development that would take place in the blue area or the AE zone would fall under a floodplain damage prevention ordinance, and we would regulate it. However, the yellow color is a non-regulated flood zone. And again, any development would be reviewed by staff via any applicable building permits. We take a look at reasonableness in the public interest. Could be considered reasonable because it supports our future land use map. Rural agriculture is a corresponding category to rural residential. We want to preserve our rural landscape, again, as is a core characteristic of Onslow County. Rural agriculture provides for a variety of home types, while R20 just provides for stick-built or modular construction. Therefore, Objective 6.1 would support the rezoning. Rural agriculture does allow for other developments and other commercial uses, and therefore Objective 4.2 wouldn't be non-supporting because we want to prevent overdevelopment in our floodplains. But overall, we do have 3 objectives supporting and 1 non-supporting. The Planning Board met at December 4th at the regularly scheduled meeting, and they voted unanimously to recommend approval of the rezoning request. At that hearing, there were 3 citizens that spoke against the request, and their concerns were that the change in zoning would allow the establishment of a campground, the construction of a manufactured home, or really the setup of a manufactured home, or a garage being constructed before a dwelling. No military impacts were presented during the Planning Board meeting. The Rural Agriculture Zoning District, a campground is allowed by special use permit that would be heard by the Board of Adjustment, and manufactured homes and the construction of a garage before a principal dwelling are by right uses in the Rural Agriculture Zoning District. The remarks of the chairman of the Planning Board are as follows. There is 1 lot, 1.72 acres, zoned R20, requested RA. The petitioner states in the application she will be building a residence over the next 3 to 5 years, but wants to start with some accessory buildings such as a garage. This is not allowed in R20, but permitted in RA. There are 3 residents of the area that objected. Their concerns were about mobile homes as a permanent residence, since their HOA does not allow them. They were concerned about their property values with the garage being built first. One resident clarified that the road is a permanent easement. All concerned that the applicant may not follow HOA rules, since the county's rules are less strict for RA than the HOA covenants. The request was deemed, though, to be consistent with the comprehensive plan and the future land use map. Let's take a look at the overview of the aerial. You can see here the surrounding area, the other homes there along Mystic Ridge Road, as well as the cemetery there right by the entrance to the subdivision along Turkey Point Road. Closer look, you can see the property is currently vacant, and you can see there the easement that comes along. You can see where we posted tonight's sign, and then a little bit of a wider view. So as respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners consider the proposed zoning map amendment of Period Z 2025, number 25, and adopt a statement of consistency for the amendment and authorize the chairman to sign the necessary documents on behalf of the county. This concludes staff presentation, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Metcalf. So at this time, we will open the public hearing. Mr. Smitherman, do we have anyone signed up for the public hearing?
Yes, sir, we do. The first speaker is Janine Davis.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Janine Cannon Davis. I'm a resident of Mystic Ridge. I reside at 134 Mystic Ridge Road. My concern in the request for rezoning this plot of land is that our homes are all stick-built. We're very concerned about the placement of modular homes, not modular, manufactured homes on this property. If their plan is to build a stick-built home within 3 to 5 years, but they're planning to put some other kind of dwelling on that property, that it will affect the quality of our life in that neighborhood. It's very quiet, it's very rural, and we would like to keep it that way. We would welcome someone building a home that works with the neighborhood, and building a garage or having a manufactured home doesn't meet with that. And the covenants that were written in 2004 specifically state that it needs to be a stick-built home of greater than 1,500 square feet or a modular-built home. It does not allow for manufactured homes. And that's in keeping with the residential zoning. And then the rural zoning allows that kind of home placement. And we just want to register our disagreement with this request for rezoning. Thank you. Do you have any questions of me?
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
Thank you.
Mr. Smitherman?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The next speaker is Beth Hanna. She's passed, and that will be our last speaker for this hearing.
Okay, so we'll close the public hearing at this time and open it up for commissioners' motion or...
I got a question.
We got a motion.
Deny the rezoning.
We have a motion.
Denying the rezoning?
We have a motion to deny. Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion dies.
Hey, let me
Now we need we got to get the motion. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second.
I got a question.
Any discussion or question?
Sorry. Just, you can answer from there. It's pretty simple. So this particular property is owned by somebody who wants to build a house within 3 to 5 years or some type of residential thing, right?
Yes, sir. That's what she stated on her application.
Okay, so what does that have to do with anything with a HOA? I heard a HOA in there. What does that have to do with it? Is it because he owns this property and builds land, he has to be incorporated into the HOA?
The property as it was created was, according to other residents and testimony we've received, is bounding by the HOA covenants. As our department does not enforce HOA covenants, we've not investigated whether or not is germane.
I understand that. This person owns this land, so if they buy a house on this land, their property, and they change it, they're going to be in violation of a HOA covenant?
So what the individual, reason why they came before our office and requested a rezoning is they wanted to build a garage or an accessory structure before the principal dwelling. And that's allowed in rural agriculture, but not in R20. And so we looked at the comprehensive plan, and so that's why they submitted the rezoning. But if they changed their house, and again, I would have to defer to the legal representation on whether or not they would be in violation of their covenant.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. It still hasn't answered my question. If this land is theirs and they build a house, are they under the HOA agreement? That's what I want to know. Is that land where they build a house part of that HOA? Because if not, they can do whatever they want on that land. They don't come under any HOA agreement is what I'm getting to.
I would have to, again.
I'm hearing HOA is probably one of the,
If I understand it correctly, they have indicated that it's part of a HOA, but that hasn't been part of our department's under their purview, so there hasn't been an investigation. If there is a violation, they're in a HOA, then that is something that the HOA has to enact on their principles, not Onslow County. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I struggled with this one. You all know that I tend to want somebody to be able to do whatever they want to with their property, but I worked on this one pretty hard. This subdivision was platted in 2004. It was zoned for R20. It was restrictive covenants were put in place. An HOA was put in place with bylaws and even a road maintenance agreement. And if you look at the map, this road, this property is the first thing that anybody will ever see when they go into that subdivision. And the house can be built with the R20 in an R20 zone. The only thing that we do by changing this zone to RA is put the homeowners that are already out there in jeopardy of having to go to court and sue somebody to keep them from putting a manufactured home on this lot. And I know that I understand the intent of the person who applied, but they bought this property in 2025, not in September of 25. They knew what the zoning, they knew the covenants, they knew the HOA bylaws, they knew the road maintenance agreement when they bought the house, bought the property. And I can see how a manufactured home on this street, the first thing that anybody will see when they come into that subdivision would be very detrimental to property values and to the people who already own this property. So, they put these restrictions in place to maintain their community standards. And in this case, it just doesn't make sense to me to rezone this one lot in the subdivision that would allow somebody to do something that would cause everybody else in the subdivision a hardship. So I will be voting against this motion, and that is my reasoning.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I heard a whole lot in what you just said. I heard a whole lot in what you just said. And so I'm not even going to elaborate that anymore, but let's suffice it to say, I heard two distinct words there that really bother me, but I heard a whole lot in what you said, and I'm voting against this, what is the motion? To vote against?
The motion is
to approve the rezoning. I'm voting, my conscience tells me to vote in approval for this rezoning, because like I said, I heard a lot in a couple of people's comments that really bugged me. It really does. I'm not going to say it for the public, but there's certain things that were said that really bug me. Actually torques me off. So I'm voting for the rezoning.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think this is a perfect opportunity for HOAs to do what HOAs do. If this property is indeed a part of the HOA and it's an active HOA, they will be more successful in court of stopping something than even, well, I don't know if anybody can outdo our friend here, but they're going to be pretty doggone successful if they're in a HOA. And so I don't think it fits our plan, and I think we need to move on.
Anyone else? I think this kind of goes back to what I mentioned maybe in our last meeting when we talked about the building the garages on property, permitting those prior to a home being built. Sometimes that occurs. I don't know if that is something that's on the horizon for us to discuss, make a change, or look at. Because if the whole reasoning behind this is they want to build a garage on that property, then we may be taking care of that issue if we make a change to our planning and development work. Is that accurate in that, Mr. Metcalf, if we make that change? Which I think we all sounded like we were kind of
We did. We're still working on reviewing all of the different ramifications of changing that across all the residential districts. So we don't have our proposal ready for the board at this time for that. But certainly if that rule did change, then that could be something, again, it'd be up to the board's discretion to change that part of the ordinance.
And I can ask Ms. Davis a question, right? Ms. Davis, other than the manufactured home, is the building of the garage first any part of the issue with the HOA, or is it the manufactured home that is the concern?
Well, I think it's unclear to us what the plan is. We originally heard, and I don't know where it's written or who said it, that their plan was to put an RV on a slab for 3 to 5 years until they built.
Okay.
So the part about the garage, I had not heard about.
Oh, okay. Would the garage be against the HOA?
I don't know. I don't know the
Okay.
answer.
Thank you. You're good. Thank you. Any other questions or concern? All right, so this time, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Hearing one no, the motion carries 6-1. Mr. Metcalf, you'll move right into our next public hearing on turnkey home solutions rezoning.
Yes, sir. So next item is the turnkey home solutions rezoning, Period Z 2025, number 27. The applicant is the same as the owner, Turnkey Home Solutions Incorporated. Overview of request number 27. It's also from Residential 20 or R20 to Residential 8M or Residential 8 Manufactured. One tax map number in question, 1313B-14. It's located at 203 Queens Creek Road and is in the Swansboro Township. The rezoning area is the entire parcel of 0.57 acres. The existing use of the property has a residential but also vacant use, and we'll look at that more in the aerials. Nearby water service, there's a 4-inch Onslow water main along Quail Trail, and then a 6-inch Onslow water main along Queens Road. Nearby properties are served by individual septic systems, and the fire service for the property is Northeast Onslow with an ISO rating of 4. Our closest traffic count and our also most recent traffic count are from Queens Road, 2023. Trip count of 800, and staff estimates the capacity at 10,000. Schools serving the property are Swansboro Elementary, Swansboro Middle School, and Swansboro High School. At this point, the elementary and middle school are projected to be over capacity this time, and the high school has capacity for any additional new students. Here we look at the zoning for the area. The blue designation is R20. While that lighter red color is R-8M, which is the proposed zoning. Here you see the current district of Residential 20. Its purpose is to accommodate low-density, single-family residential development. And the minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet or just under half an acre. And again, provides for stick-built construction or modular homes. While Residential 8 Manufactured, as it says in the name, would prescribe single-family residential development, manufactured homes, duplexes or a 2-family home, and then also more dense developments such as a manufactured home park or multifamily by special use permit. So provides for a more variety of home types as its purpose is to accommodate moderate to high-density single-family and multifamily residential development. Its purpose is also to preserve a place in Onslow County for manufactured homes. It has a minimum lot size of 8,000 square feet. When we look at the comprehensive plan, is suburban growth is the designation, and its purpose here and intent is to provide for moderate density residential development and the corresponding supporting non-residential development. Since this is a residential to residential rezoning case, we will look at the residential land use and development summary. Would prescribe single-family residential development, primarily focused for major subdivisions at densities of 4 to 5 dwelling units per acre, and then a multifamily at 8 to 10 dwelling units per acre. Depending on the development of a Residential 8 manufactured development, it could meet those residential development densities. So it is a partially consisting zoning district. The multifamily would align, and it would just depend on the exact build out for the residential development. Here you see the entire parcel and the surrounding areas in the suburban growth category. And there's no environmental conditions of concerns that were identified by staff review, no blue line streams, and no flood zones. This time, any sort of wetland delineations, though, would have to be submitted to county staff and be done through the review process. We'll look at reasonableness and the public interest. R-8M would be a corresponding zoning district, again, depending exactly how it's built out. So objective 1.1 would support it. And we also want to proactively manage growth to areas of the county that have existing infrastructure that could support that growth. There are several types of infrastructure that could support greater density in this area. And R-8M has a more variety of housing types. That's why objective 6.1 would also support the rezoning. Non-supporting, we want to coordinate with our Onslow County school districts, and at times that means not recommending rezoning properties. And so objective 2.4 would be a non-supporting designation. So we have 3 supporting and 1 non-supporting when we look at the reasonableness and the public interest. Planning Board met the same night of December 4th, 2025, and voted unanimously to recommend approval of the request. The applicant was present and discussed the item with the board, but there was no public comment against the rezoning at the December 4th hearing. No military impacts were presented. The chairman of Planning Board's remarks are as follows. There was 1 lot, 0.57 acres, zoned R20, requested R-8M. There were no comments or objections from the public, and they deemed it to be consistent with the comprehensive plan and the future land use map. Take a look at the aerial. There is, see there, a residential character of the area. There's a variety of other homes in the surrounding area of stick-built construction, manufactured homes. But this property, this time, is currently there with no principal dwelling. See as well where we posted for tonight's hearing, as well as that's a wider view of the property. So it's respectfully requested the Onslow County Board of Commissioners consider the proposed zoning map amendment of Period Z 2025 number 27, adopt a statement of consistency for the amendment, and authorize the chairman to sign the necessary documents on behalf of the county. This concludes the staff presentation, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Metcalf. We will now open the public hearing. Mr. Smitherman, do we have anyone signed up?
Yes, we do. The first speaker is Wes and Cindy Sales.
Hello, sir. Wesley Sales. Sir, I respectfully request that the turnkey solutions person speak first, so we can understand what his intent is. He's on the list, correct?
I don't know who that is, but this is the order of the public hearing speakers.
Okay. Well, we have a stick-built home. Then our neighbor next to us, both sides, both have stick-built homes. We understand that it started out, he was going to build a stick-built house for his mother and his sister. That's what we understood it to be. And then it changed to wanting to put a mobile home on it. At this time, I mean, it would bring down our property values of a gentleman that just bought a house across the way, and another one is trying to sell a house in the back. So to me, putting a mobile home on this property, one, it wouldn't work for our neighborhood. Even though some of the properties down the way are zoned for that. That was before we bought our house and the other people had bought their house.
Yeah. The mobile homes that are in the area are in the back half of our development. Now, there is one that's in the front area where we are, where all the stick-built homes are, but it is down a dirt road, and that dirt road, it's not maintained by Onslow County. That one had been there for I don't know how many years prior to, but all the homes in and around this area are stick-built homes. It is a smaller lot. It is only just over half an acre. All of the other lots are half an acre or larger to support a single-family home. And now you're wanting to put 2 on a smaller lot. My concern is, 1, if there is family members in that, now you're putting 2, and you're putting additional children into Onslow County schools. I've worked with Onslow County schools as a volunteer. I have children, grandchildren in Onslow County schools. They are already overcrowded, and they're looking for imaginary ways to accommodate. That's not a solution. We also are concerned with traffic in that area. If you ever have to drive there with all of this traffic, with the schools when they start or when they get out, and you're adding more homes, more residents, it's not just one house now, we're talking multiple residences. Continuing this pattern, and in our neighborhood already, in and out sometimes, we have issues trying to get out of the road, and now you're wanting to add more. I'm not against any one building, but I think we need to look at infrastructure maybe a little bit more first before you start adding more down in that area near Swansboro, near the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smitherman?
I'm going to struggle with this next one, Mr. Chairman. I'm not able to read the writing, but it's a person from Pine Lake Road in Cape Carteret. I think it's Stacy Gainey?
Yes, sir. I'm Stacy Gainey. I'm actually the owner of Turnkey Home Solutions. I'm a residential contractor in North Carolina. I reside on Pine Lake Road in Cape Carteret. I purchased this property to build a residential structure for my mother to live in. I have no intentions to build or place mobile homes or manufactured homes. I have a septic permit in hand. I have engineered plans. I have a survey. This will be a 1-story duplex. This is an attempt to build affordable living for my mother who is retiring. The other unit will actually house my sister, and she's a single mother with 2 children. They already reside in Onslow County and attend all 3 of the 2 schools of the 3 that this lot is zoned for. So they're already attending those schools. I could build a single-family residence, and my sister and my mother could live together. So I don't think it's going to cause any more traffic to this property. But I've never had any intentions of placing a mobile home or manufactured home on this property. I intend to build a duplex, affordable housing, one for my mother who's older and retiring, and the other side would be for my youngest sister. It's a way for me to build affordable housing for them in between Onslow County and Carteret County. And that is just simply the request of why I'm asking to rezone it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, the next speaker is Donald Smith.
Good evening, Commissioners. I own the houses next door to this land. I got about 150 plus feet that join that. And when I look at our A&M, we're going from 20,000 square feet down to 8,000 square feet in a multi-home complex in my backyard. And I just bought that house in November or October. And I hadn't heard what the use of the house was. I don't know. I'm not real sure what an affordable house is. Is that manufactured? Is that stick built? I'm not sure. But our A&M opens up a lot of possibilities, including trailer park, right? And I don't like it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Smitherman?
Yes, sir. The next speaker is Aubrey Shipper.
So I'm Aubrey Shipper. I live at 122 Queens Road, which is kind of like catty corner from the property. When we initially got the first letter for the meeting you guys had on December 4th, I actually reached out to a Brian. I think he has something to do with Turnkey Properties. And he's explained what they were doing is that it was going to be a duplex for him or his mother and his sister. I'm fine with that. My concern was that it was brought up actually at like 4:45 today, that some people in the neighborhood had heard about it being 2 mobile homes. I don't know where that information came from, but that is actually why I am here. I don't have any qualms with a duplex being across. I just have a concern if it is rezoned that allows mobile homes and they change their mind later. So that would be my only concern, is if they up and decide that, no, that's not what they want to do and they are going to do something else. We actually do have covenants in our neighborhood. We don't enforce them. We don't have like an HOA or anything. But it does say they have to be stick-built. They actually even states it has to be single family. But again, these are from 1964. So we don't, it says they're renewed every 10 years unless somebody says, no, I don't want to renew them, but there is actually a covenant. So I don't have any disagreement with rezoning it necessarily, so long as they are doing what they're saying that they want to do. I just, again, have the concern that they don't build it, decide to do something different later. So that's all. That's my piece.
Thank you. Mr. Smitherman?
She was our last speaker, sir.
All right. We will close the public hearing at this time and bring it to the commissioners.
I'm a little,
I'm
confused.
Hold on. We got a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion, questions?
I'm just confused, just a little bit. Yeah, that would help. So the people that spoke, you're in favor of this rezoning, correct? Or no? No. You're not in favor of this rezoning?
The last lady was.
Okay. Nobody that came up was in favor of the rezoning?
Yeah, the last one was.
Yes, necessarily.
You're neutral? Provided they do what they say they're going to do, this is what you're saying, okay. I just want to make sure I hear that before I make a decision, because it's just kind of confusing to me, just listening. Okay, that's the only question I had. Well, let me ask you this. So the people who want to rezone this turnkey, you said you wanted to make it affordable housing?
Ma'am, if you want to come up to the microphone.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
When I say affordable housing, I'm a residential contractor. I'm building this property as a personal property for my mother and my sister. So to go out and purchase 2 lots of land, I'm sure you're aware of what the cost of land is and how much that is, and what goes along with it. I can affordably build a duplex to house my mother and my sister, so that my sister can look after my mother.
So you have no intention, of what I heard earlier, so I understand this for me, of putting a mobile home?
I have no intentions of placing a mobile home. I have never stated that I wanted to place a mobile home on it. I have plans, everything in place. If this is granted today, I plan to file for a building permit within the week with engineered plans, with a survey, with a septic permit in hand. And that would be a stick-built duplex.
For your parents and whoever, right?
For my mother, for my widowed mother, and my sister, who is a single mother.
I think that's really noble.
Thank you.
But thank you. That clarifies things for me.
Is there anything that I can?
Ma'am, we'll.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions or anything? Okay, so I think this is a ½ acre lot, and it's pretty much surrounded by RM. So a lot could be done in those areas.
No pun intended.
Was there, so. No other thoughts, comments, or questions? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right. We'll now move to the item 6, which is the Commissioners Committee reports. If we have anyone that would like to share, I know it's been Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, so we may be fairly limited in how much was actually done in the committees over the last couple of months. Anyone want to start, or?
I'll start.
Okay.
Since I have my reports. Just a couple of things about the different committees that I serve on. I am newly serving on the Civic Affairs Committee, and besides knowing of the events that we have coming up that are sponsored by them, which include Fabric of the Community, which will be held I believe in May. It's a great event, and I'm thinking it's open to the public, but it's honoring people that have really made a significant impact in our community over the course of time in different areas. And it's always a very well-attended event, and it's sponsored by, I believe, the United Way. And I'm newer at this, so forgive me if I'm getting it wrong for anybody who has always been with that committee. But the other thing that we learned while we were there was that something I did not know at the county, America 250, with our large anniversary that we have this year, the county will be doing events every month starting February 2026 all the way through, I believe it's July 2027. So be on the lookout for all those things. I think that's really wonderful. My favorite committee to serve on is the Albert J. Ellis Airport Committee, headed by our airport director, Mitch Sprunger, who is, I have to say, one of the most professional, hardworking gentlemen that I know. Very timely, too. He recently addressed an issue that happened there in a very professional way that I think probably made the questioner happy. But on the topic of, which everyone wants to know about, we've been hearing about this for a while, the expansion of the airport runway. Things are moving along very well, and the one thing that I can say that came up in our meeting in December was that late summer, early fall 26, the paving of the new roadway is going to be happening, so you can get excited about that. Also wanted to share, there's a lot of stuff that goes on out there that a lot of people probably don't know, but Sandra Jansen, who is the grants manager extraordinaire with millions of dollars that she keeps track of very meticulously. She also coordinates things like Hope for the Warriors there. There's a place that any veterans or active duty military can go in and get a drink, get direction, get any kind of support that they need if they're in the airport. But she also coordinates things like holiday music. So during Christmas, there was various schools that were featured there playing. Their bands from their schools were there. There's also an arts display that happens throughout the year as well. So I encourage you to look at that because it's really a wonderful way to see the local schools and what they do in school throughout the year. The last one that I'm on is the East Carolina Workforce Development Board, which was an enigma to me originally, but now that I think I understand it a little bit more, it is a group that is designed, it's a region in North Carolina, and they work to implement the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. I am really a placeholder, as are all of the other commissioners that are on there on a board. It's a necessity that we're there. These people, though, together do a phenomenal job of working to train people and help local companies, building businesses, resume services, job searches and trainings, addressing the at-risk population, which is generally kids, I shouldn't say kids, but I'm older, so I can say that. People that are 18 to 24 in age who have not been employed yet, making sure that they have adequate training so that they can get a job that's supplying, what they need to live. And people that are coming back into the workforce. They do a really phenomenal thing. The East Carolina Workforce Development Board also sponsors or holds up, which you may not know this, NC Works Career Centers and 7 community colleges and work directly with the business community. So if you know somebody that is looking to or fits into that and needs help getting into a job, last year they provided 170,000 services in that area. And that's pretty big. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that. And I think that's all. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Carpenter. Anyone else share with any of the committees or any reports?
Yes, sir.
Mr.
I would love to report on Onwassa. We completed our bylaws change, which allows unelected members to serve as directors on the Onwassa Board of Directors. And those members are still appointed by the local towns and by this board, but they don't have to be elected officials anymore. And as a matter of fact, congratulate Mr. Jerry Bittner and Bob Warden, who were reappointed as Onwassa directors, and congratulate Mr. Wayne Herbert from Swansboro, who's appointed to the Onwassa Board of Directors. Also can report today that I think our pipeline from Swansboro to Piney Green is about 75% complete. It's going to open up a whole lot of opportunities in that corridor and give Swansboro a lot more sewer capacity. And down in Holly Ridge, besides expanding our sewer plants, we just been talking this last couple of weeks. It looks like we're going to be able to, we're applying for a grant to build a new water tower down in Holly Ridge to make sure that we can supply the water needs that they have for the next many years to come. So that's what's happening at Onwassa. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Any others?
We'll do the hospital. If we, the Onslow County Memorial Hospital, they're doing a lot of great things. I encourage you to follow their Facebook page. I'll just share one with you. It's their sensory cart for their mental and behavioral health patients. And that thing is fascinating. It worked on me. I'll leave that there. So, but it's got so many things going on. It puts patterns on the floor. It can put a fish tank on the floor. It's got things that just keep your mind occupied. And so not only is it good from the patient to keep them occupied until proper care can be provided, it also keeps them safe. It keeps them from wandering out into the hospital hallways, running into people, tripping, falling. And so to see them doing, again, just proactive and innovative things, bringing that to our hospital is fantastic. I love the risk management process they take us through and the finances they take us through. They're in the black. They continue to prepare to stay in the black with all the Medicaid changes that you probably have seen in the news. So they're doing a great job with that as well. So just hats off to the hospital for keeping on with the improvements. Still waiting on, as you guys know, we're partners with UNC Health. And so I'm excited as that relationship continues to develop. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So a lot of good things happening at your hospital. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any others? I've got just a couple that the Topsail Island Shoreline Protection Committee in December completed their goals for the legislative session. Quite a few of those as they're continuing the work to protect the shoreline on Topsail Island, advocating for recurring increased funding from the state with the Coastal Storm Damage Mitigation Fund, funding for the shallow draft inlet dredging. If anyone likes to take their big boats, shrimp boats in particular, out of the inlets, that is a major concern for our local shrimpers and fishermen that go out of our inlets. It all comes down to lots of funding. Advocate for 3 to 5 years of funding for Vitex removal in dunes. If you do not know what Vitex is, the first time I heard them say Vitex, I thought it was some kind of manufactured item. It's not. It's a plant, and that they thought would help on the beaches, but it has created more problems, and now they're having to remove that where people had thought that was a good idea, and it is not. But lots of work, lots of goals through the Topsail Island Shoreline Protection in the coming year. Also sit on the Beach Inlet Sound Committee with Mayor Rick Grant. It's been a while, but we keep getting the updates on the plans of the phases on North Topsail Beach in particular, what's going on there. And then they get into where they're pumping sand from to bring it to the beach. And they have to ensure that the sand that they're pumping to the beach is the same quality of sand that is on the beach, which you just can't go and pump sand from anywhere onto the beaches because it reacts differently and can ruin your shoreline. And then the Jacksonville juvenile crime prevention. There's a lot of people that sit on the JCPC. A lot of work goes into really trying to address the needs of our students or our kids in Onslow County. And there's several organizations. You have your faith-based organizations, the county organizations, private and local organizations that are involved. law enforcement, police department, Jacksonville Police Department, Sheriff's Office, Onslow County Schools. Everyone is there working to take care and prevent, and then work on students that have made some poor choices and keep them from making those choices again. Then recently got on Jumpo with Commissioner Buchanan, sat through the first meeting with that, learned a lot. There's a lot of needs in Onslow County when it comes to the to roads and overpasses and clover leafs and everything else, but all of the state of North Carolina needs that, and there's a huge cost to that. So they prioritize, send that up to the planning, and then that gets prioritized from the state level, and then it gets put on the list. But I did learn, correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Buchanan, that list of priorities is a fluctuating list. You may think you're number 2 on the list, and by next month you could be down to number 22, depending on what is taking place. So it's quite interesting to see how those things take place. Other than that, unless there's anyone else wants to add.
Well, I can just add a few things to the Jumbo thing is that they do a lot of roads, and you're going to see there's a lot of roads in Jacksonville that's taking place. Henderson Drive Extension, Western Boulevard, stuff all over the place. It's called Safe Roads. They did a lot of work out on 258. Now, Senator Lazar talked to me the other day, and I passed it on to some of the commissioners that the 53-258 looks like he's trying to get the money to take care of that project. You know, we've been watching that, and I know Philip comes out that direction every once in a while, but I can tell you that that is one of the most dangerous intersections in Onslow County, along with Western and 17. But the catch to it is that the money was allotted for south of us, and looks like the South doesn't want that money right now. So the senator's trying to get that money for us. So if we can get the 258-53 intersection, which would be an overpass, and if you notice, all the easements have already been purchased on the right-hand side there. So it's going to be interesting if the senator can get that money for us. If he can, it's going to take a dangerous intersection and put it into a safe zone, is what we talked about that thing there. The other thing is we're doing some stuff for Swans. We're looking at it at the food line. I don't know if a lot of you around the Swansboro area, there's a lot of wrecks there. We're trying to get a right in, right out like they have at Walmart. And then we're trying to get a Hawk Crossroads over there before the bridge is a restaurant on the left side called Before the Bridge. And then on the right-hand side there, it's called a Hawk, the same thing that's over at the Jacksonville High School. And that's to help the pedestrians to get across from one side of the restaurants over to the other side. So we're working on that. They're doing a study on that right now. So that's one of the things that they're doing. And the Jumbo thing's been good. I sit on the Fire Commission, but right now we're trying to do new bylaws. We worked on that this afternoon in our workshop, and we should have more information on that later on coming up. And I sit on the ABC board. There's nothing to report there. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. David might, but they, if I known I was going to do this evening, I'd have brought the numbers with me. But we get a lot of money from the ABC board. We do, Holly Ridge does, Swansboro does, and Richlands. There's a piece of the money is percentages that's given to each one of the municipalities. We get close to $1 million, if I am badly mistaken, $850,000 to $1 million. And then some of the money goes to the hospital from the ABC board, and then some other money goes to the sheriff for education on his side of the house also. So there's a lot of that money that goes to the liquor stores that comes to the municipalities. Besides that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Buchanan. So now we'll move into item 7, Mr. Kevin Patterson with our quarterly financial report.
Good afternoon. With this, again, presenting information in comparison to prior years as of December 31st. Right now, you will see that we are trending. Okay. We are trending in line with our budget and with expectations. You'll notice that our tax revenues are looking to be slightly behind where they were last year. A significant portion of that is we actually had an $11 million payment that came in from a mortgage company that came in January versus December of last year. So with that adjustment, with the time differences, I think we're approximately about $2 million ahead. $2 million ahead of where we were last year. In the first 2 weeks of January, we collected $30.6 million of property taxes. So that is putting us well in line with our revenue projections for the year. Again, also with our with our operational costs, we are again trending in line with where we are last year with the expected budgetary increases, but they are matching so far as we are expecting to go. And also looking down, just giving a breakdown of the funding that we do each year. Again, the primary purpose of county government, according to where the money goes, is education, then public safety. Those are the two largest items, and with those, that is over 60% of our budget. We put in human services on top of that those three categories are 80% of the county's budget for those areas. One thing also, just as a follow-up to our auditor, of course, this year we did go off and increase the speed, and that is a lot to do with how the finance office structured the workload this year. We pushed a lot more into the accountant's hands so that they did more of the work, so that they were learning more of the financial statements. And of course, our controller, Lisa Marlin, was going off as an instrumental. As a matter of fact, she primarily did the audit with our accountant's help. But part of that design is also to go off and increase our own professional development in the finance office. And one thing that is going to be announced next month, Lisa Marlin's going to be at the Finance Officers Spring Winter Conference and is going to be awarded the Certified Local Government Finance Officer title, which is a 4-year process to achieve, and it's one of the primary goals that we're trying to achieve for all of our accountants in the finance. But for the fact that she did achieve that this year by passing her 4th exam, got her results back at the end of December. So, and with that, I'll turn over to Ashley Crosby, our grants manager, for follow-up.
Good evening. In quarter two, the board formally accepted 8 grant awards totaling $4.4 million. This included grants for animal services, parks and recreation, arts, community resiliency, the airport, transportation, the sheriff's office, and the health department. Additionally, we have 5 active grant applications awaiting award status totaling $2.2 million. This includes grants for animal services, youth athletics, and our FEMA hazard mitigation grant program for emergency services. We also have 4 additional grant opportunities that we have explored but are not currently pursuing. These are general, private, and federal grant application grants with rolling or future deadlines, which I'm keeping on the back burner for future use. And lastly, the county's 2026 nonprofit tourism and agency grant will begin accepting applications on February 17th with the submission deadline of March 17th. All application materials and related information are available on the county website under the finance page, and the final determination required from the board is the adoption of the budget, which will be proposed at a later date. And that concludes my presentation, pending any questions. No. 6 months, 5 or 6.
And she's done a lot with these grants. These grants mean a whole lot to the community and to Onslow County.
Of course, thank you.
One question for you real quick.
Yes, sir.
She couldn't remember 5 or 6 months because it's such a great place to work at. So when it's a great place to work, time flies. Have we already mailed out those grant applications with that information, or is that getting ready to take place?
I will be sending that out hopefully next week.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do as well. Okay, so we'll move from item 7 right over to item 10, which is the closed session items, and Mr. DeSalms will present 10A Resolution 26-002.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and piggybacking on what Commissioner Carpenter talked about, the airport expansion, there's some land that nearby the airport that the county identified as needing to have in order to complete that that expansion, as well as potentially a park area. We've been working really hard with the owners over the last almost year now. The venters are the owners of the property. They have them in different entities, but I'm happy to report that we believe we've come to terms on all material terms for just the airport taking of the property. We've worked with them on the price. We've worked with them on the process in order to take down these properties. And so while nobody likes condemnation, and that's something that we don't like to talk about or hear about, this board's direction was to try to work with the property owners and try to work that out without having to go the condemnation route. And that's what we've done. So we've worked that out. It'll be for taking of the airport portion only. You'll see in the resolution before you, it's giving you the ability to condemn all the property. Again, that's not something that I envision happening. It's just going to be the airport portion. And we're going forward with the resolution to allow the condemnation just to effectuate the settlement agreement between the parties. This is the way to get the title to our hands. So I'm happy to report that the properties involved all are contiguous with the airport. Their tax parcels 027515, 032410, 172528, 027569, and 027553. Once when the airport settlement is reduced to writing, memorialized, it'll come back before the board and the public will get all that. But this just gives us the resolution to proceed forward with that condemnation matter. Again, the vendors know that this is coming. This is something that we've worked out the material terms. I don't think it's going to come as a surprise to anybody. And so we're asking for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. So we'll move to item 11. Mr. Smitherman, your comments.
Yes, sir. I'm going to focus my comments on the great work of our finance department, particularly the changes that Kevin Patterson has made as our CFO in only a short 20 months on board, assisted extremely well by Lisa Marlin. The two of them have really changed our finance department and done it in a great way. It's a great place to work, and everyone in there is doing a great job. And it's a far cry from where we were just 3 years ago when we couldn't get an audit done. Now our audits are done on time. We went from 17 findings last year to 0 this year, and all of that's attributable to their great work. Under Kevin's leadership, we have also adopted financial policies. We have approved a capital improvement plan and debt management plan, and we are in the midst of creating a 4-year financial plan for our organization over the next revaluation cycle. And then finally, I do want to comment, as many of you have and probably will, the great work we do in grants. We brought in $4.4 million worth of grants in the last 3 months, and that's pretty typical for the organization. We are very astute at finding them, utilizing them, reporting and completing those projects. And we do that for the betterment of our organization without additional burden on our taxpayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So as we get ready to move to the commissioner comments, we've been here about an hour and a half. So I'll challenge ourselves here to keep our comments to 3 minutes or less.
Yes.
Sounds good to me. I'll go first.
All right, Commissioner Buchanan.
Lisa, congratulations. It's well deserved. Kevin, you got a good staff, and you inherited the audit problem, and you've done an outstanding job with that. Today we had a workshop, and our workshops are always outstanding. We got a lot done today. We're moving forward for the county. There's a lot of things that are coming up. And I want to thank everybody for being here. And number one, look, we got a bad storm coming in this weekend. So everybody be safe. Please be safe. Thank you.
All right. Good job, Commissioner Buchanan. Commissioner Bennett?
Sure enough. Thank you, everybody, for being here, especially the school board. It's good to see all of you and the school administrators. We thank you all for being here today. I'm proud of the funding formula that has been approved. We've done a funding formula with Coastal Carolina Community College, and I hope to see some funding mechanisms for our volunteer fire departments coming up in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Commissioner Carpenter?
Sure. Just to echo what everyone else has said, Kevin Patterson, we're not worthy. You're so good. Thank you so much.
Are you giving him rock star status?
Yeah, he really is a rock star, along with Lisa Marlin for really, I think, holding down the fort so that he could step in and be able to do what he's done too. It's like the dynamic duo in finance, and thank you so much for all that you do. I'd also like to thank Mitch Sprunger, our airport director, and Brett DeSelms very much for working so diligently in a very difficult situation to move this big project, which I think is going to be such a boon for our county forward. Thank you so much for doing that for the airport. And lastly, one person that was just phenomenal in our workshop was Chrissy Hoover, our health director, in presenting a report, a status update kind of on the opioid settlement funds and what all, not only is she doing, but the work that she's doing in conjunction with our neighbors in the region here to get the numbers to come down with the overdoses we have in the area. And I think they've done such a great job and have utilized such incredible resources and are open-minded and taking advantage of every opportunity. And I just thank her so much for what she's doing and continues to do for us in that area. Be safe this weekend. Stay warm. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Mr. Davis?
Okay, I don't know if I'll make the 3-minute rule, but I'll try. Certainly got to attend a planning board meeting, I think was it last week, Metcalf? And I just want to compliment you and Jade and the rest of your staff. Got to kind of watch you guys from the back of the room instead of the front of the room, and what a just excellent work that you and your team did. I also want to compliment the planning board. The chairman, she runs a very tight, very clean meeting, a lot of public involvement. I like that. I really love how she brings the public in and allows them to be a part of the decision-making process. So just excellent execution by the planning board and by the planning board staff, by the planning staff. Mitch, you got an email this week that I thought was very inappropriate. And I just want to compliment you on how you handled that. You just as professional as always, and just respect you a lot for the way you were able to just calm that situation out. So well done, sir, on that. School board and the staff back here, man, you guys do a tremendous job. You guys, I don't think we really appreciate the work and how hard y'all have to work to keep all these schools and staff going, and so just thank y'all for that. I do want to acknowledge some principals and other staff that I've worked with since they're not here, and say their names out loud because I know they work hard as well. And since some of these I've worked with off and on since '04. Sean Lovett, I think he's at Southwest doing a great job. Helen Gross, Swansboro. Paige Highsmith, you took her from us. I don't know where you got her, but she's an amazing lady, doing a great job, I'm sure. Michelle Riggs, I think, retired. Michelle Padgett's doing fantastic things. Matter of fact, she got some kind of great grant that was, I can't think of the name of it. Maybe you remember, Chris?
You talking about Newbridge?
Yeah, Newbridge, sorry. Yeah, so she's doing amazing work. Denise Gardner, man, you married way up, sir. You married way up. Ryan Regal's doing great work, and of course Lisa Rice. I think she's on staff with you guys. She does a great job as well. So just hats off to what you guys do. It's tough, y'all, to keep the public, balance the public, and everything that y'all do. So thank you. I don't know. Is that my 3 minutes? Am I good?
You're doing well. You're in the ballpark. Not really timing it, but you're in the ballpark.
I'm in the ballpark. All right, guys. Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Commissioner Padgett?
Mine will be less than 3 minutes. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and I do thank our schools for what you do. I'm a product of our schools. Might be the smartest kid up here on the block, but what I got. I'm like a mule, I don't forget. Y'all have done a great job. Our staff has done a great job. And you're to be commended for our audit because it's been in a mess, and several years it was in a mess. Thank you again so much for everything you do, and the board. And y'all have a good night and be safe.
Thank you, Mr. Padgett.
No pressure, Robin.
Yeah, Robin.
Vice Chair?
Ain't no pressure. I'm not worried about it. The way you guys rambled on, I'm going to stay here for 30 minutes. But anyway, first of all, I want to welcome Steve Eaton. He's our new deputy county manager. It's his first meeting in Onslow County. Steve, just stand up and wave to everybody. Do a little courtesy. Yeah, there you go. He's our new deputy county manager. He comes with a lot of experience. I haven't had a chance to really sit down one-on-one, which I plan on doing. But everything I've seen and heard and read about him is very impressive. And I'm glad you're aboard, and thank you. You're joining a great staff. You got some great leadership in David Smitherman. and the rest of the staff, they continue to surprise, they continue to progress. We had a workshop today, very succinct to the point. Janelle, you're still my favorite, don't worry. You still feel in that category. But they provided some great briefings, and I can't remember your name, the grant individual. I mean, you're doing a phenomenal job. I mean, to see the statistics that you're doing, that's a level of professionalism that we haven't seen in a very, very long time, and I really love it, and I love what you're doing. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I've heard some comments before, not in here, from other people about transparency, and I just want to let everybody know, and I was talking about it earlier today, I don't know how more transparent that this board can get, because everything that you see is what we see. I heard comments that there are two budgets. There are not two budgets. There are no two budgets in this county. One budget. We see the budget, we go over the budget, you see the budget. There's no hidden Area 51 budget that we're operating off. I'm just letting everybody know that, okay? Because it is the most ludicrous, the most stupid thing I've ever heard anyone utter out of their mouth. Well, they got two budgets. Yeah, okay. I've got two heads, too. I mean, come on. So what you see when the budget is approved and it's released and it's out there and you can obtain a copy of it, you will see exactly what we see. We just happen to be working behind the scenes to make that budget available for you, and it has to be approved. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. One budget, one county, okay? And I did that for a particular reason. You probably don't know why, but that's okay. Board of Education, I can't say enough about you guys. There's 4 of us on this board that were there when we did this. Commissioner Buchanan, Commissioner Bennett, and Commissioner Foster. We were there at the beginning of the formulation where we started to work together. We had the joint meetings, and it was much needed. I think it was on my first term we started to have joint meetings, and I can't express the working relationship with the Board of Education. It's flawless. I'm not just saying that. It's flawless. They can call us and we can call them. We have a great relationship with the superintendent. We've always had a great relationship with the superintendent. And basically, you're looking at 2 boards that are unified when it comes to our capital projects for the schools. We have the same concerns. And thank you so much for proving that and going with it and making a historical moment tonight. I think it's just awesome, and I hope that we can continue to work together in the future. And I see you over there, Paul, but I got 2 more minutes, but I'm not going to take 2 minutes. And one last thing.
No, you don't.
This is very important. I want you to understand this. March is coming up. It's midterm elections, okay? Some people will take that for granted. I'm not telling you who to vote for because it's not my place. Nice try. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but when you go up to vote for 3 BOE members and 3 BOC members, make sure you do your research and make sure your memory is like an elephant, that you remember things in the past. I'll leave it at that. Vote your conscience, vote smartly, and God bless everybody, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Vice Chairman.
And I was 5 seconds.
Someone got the clock running?
Under John Davis.
I thought I was going to have a lot more time, but I was wrong. It was a great day, great workshop, a lot of good information, a lot of work put in there. Welcome, Steve, coming to Onslow County. We're glad to have you, and already seeing some good work that you're doing. David, you've assembled a really good team, which is a sign of your leadership, because you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room if you surround yourself with the smartest people. And that makes a world of difference. You've made some great hires that's really making a difference in Onslow County and moving us future and strategic planning, setting it up to getting that done. Last thing that I will say is I appreciate all the Board of Education members being here. Vice Chairman Elbert Garvey. I'm going to do this right this time. Chairman Elbert Garvey, Vice Chairman, I've messed it up anyway. Chairman Elbert Garvey, Vice Chairman Bradley Williams, Board members Suzanne Long, Michelle Halley. Philip Williams and Mr. Bill Lanier. And I won't go without recognizing the folks in the back of the room that were here that have been a part of the school system.
He's got a cheat sheet right there.
I don't need it for them. I worked with most of them. And those in the back too. We'll start our superintendent, Dr. Chris Barnes, who also is a product of Onslow County Schools, and went right from kindergarten right on straight up to superintendent. Great work. And Dr. Brendan Gartner, Mr. Jeff Pittman, Ms. Jody Ramsey, who keeps Dr. Barnes in line, Dr. C.J. Korenik, Mr. Jeff Holloman, and then the man that makes all the phone calls to keep you in line in Onslow County Schools, Mr. Brent Anderson. So we appreciate all of them being here for putting this together and ensuring that we continue to keep Onslow County, as we said earlier, a great place to live, work, learn, and raise a family. With that, we need to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.